وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. Alhamdulillah. We are continuing class. We are at the Mudillat Fitan in the now in our book. Right. So we have reached the first of the five knowledges of fiqh tahawulat. Right. So which is al-nawaqid wal-naqa'id ومضلات الفتن وأسباب الوقاية. منها, and last lesson we went into the different stages, of مضلات fitan. And today we will be going into the other parts, inshallah. What is about the wiqaya. About the wiqaya, meaning the protection from مضلات الفتن. And this is basically the first knowledge or the five knowledges of التحولات, which inshallah, if you continue studying this knowledge, we will go into them more, right? In other books, in longer books or in books, right? We'll do them more, inshallah. And I actually really enjoy studying the five knowledges. Like it's really like, subhanAllah, how Habib Abu Bakr has compartmentalized, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? That, mashallah, like it gives a lot of clarity. Like when you look at the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just this past week, someone texted me, or text on our group, and we have a group, where we discuss certain things. Right. So one of them said that she heard from someone, who had told her that that the Mahdi and Nabi Isa are one person. Right. So I don't know. So they said to her that the Mahdi and Nabi Isa are one person. Nabi Isa has already come down, it seems, according to this person. Right, Nabi Isa has already come down. Already he's really back on earth, and people are already doing bay'ah, right, to Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And so according to this person, right, that Nabi Isa and the Mahdi are one person, right? So the thing about it is that, see, this is the reason why we study this knowledge, okay? Because there's going to be so much speculation that will be spread, it will be widespread. So how are you going to know, or how will you know that, what is being told to you, what was being said, right, is correct, right? So you, first and foremost, you need to identify what phase we're in. Right, so what phase we're in right now, we're in the marhala al-ghuzaiya, and we're in that phase. And we're not near the phase right now of the descent of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And that's still a bit, far off. It's not nearby right now. Okay, far off meaning, comparatively, right? So yani, so straight away, I can tell that this person's claim is not correct. Right? It's not correct. And also, of the different narrations that point to Imam Mahdi being an individual and Nabi Isa being an individual. And really, honestly, Nabi Isa, once he descends, is going to be like fast game, say. It is fast game. Like, it's going to be, like a series of events. Wakhala, Dajjal dies, and it's all gone. Okay, that's basically it. That's basically it. Right. So Nabi Isa, once he's here, it's like, alhamdulillah, like it all comes to an end. For Dajjal, is game over, right? For Dajjal. Right. So, if he's down already, like, do you miss Dajjal? And do you not see Dajjal appear? Not possible. Not possible, because the manifestation of Dajjal will be physical. It's a physical manifestation of an individual who will go around the earth. Right, so how he will go around the earth, that is, we will wait to see, or maybe we'll die first, inshallah, or our kids will wait to see, right, Dajjal appear, and inshallah they are on the right side of Imam Mahdi. Right, so basically, if you go into the series of events, right now where we're at, right, we're looking at the emergence of the Sufyani armies. Right, Sufyani 1, Sufyani 2. I know someone asked the question, Sufyani, we're not there yet. We're not there. We're learning this knowledge step by step. Right? So I don't want people to jump the gun, right, and to study about something that we're not there yet. You get me? We're not there yet. So right now, we're naqaid wa naqaid. And when we're nawaqid, naqaid. Right? We're here. This is our world right now. Our world right now is with these five knowledges. Right? For us to study, al-waqi'. Al-waqi' meaning what is happening right now around us. Okay, right. So yes, the Sufyani is coming, and the first army is Sufyani, and the second Sufyani army. There are two Sufyani armies, right? The second Sufyani will meet the Mahdi. He will meet the Mahdi, and the Mahdi will bring them down, right? Then the Mahdi. So when the Mahdi emerges, then Dajjal emerges. The Mahdi will emerge first. He will manifest. Right? He will manifest first. then Dajjal manifests. Right? Then after Dajjal, that's what he does. And there's an entire series of things that he will do with Dajjal, and it will be manifest. He will be manifest. He will not be hidden. He will be manifest. Right? So when Dajjal comes out, he will be manifest. Right? Um, and then comes Nabi Isa, who will also be manifest. Okay, Nabi Isa is not going to hide himself. Okay, Nabi Isa is going to be manifest. You get me? Right? So it's not going to be like, oh, he's somewhere around, and where's Nabi Isa? No, 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 no. Nabi Isa, when he comes down, it's going to be known. It will be known. But people will be torn between Dajjal and Nabi Isa. And those who have been consuming from the hands of Dajjal, they will be unable to resist Dajjal. Right? And those who have been, you have been detaching yourself from this dunya, you have been cutting yourself off from the media, you have been distancing yourself from the world of the Dajjal and the hands of the Dajjal and the feet of the Dajjal, and then it is easier for someone to identify Nabi Isa, to follow him. As we know, in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how many of the Jews of Medina could recognize him, but they failed to follow him. So it's not a matter of recognizing. It's not a matter of recognizing. Many people will be able to recognize the Nabi Isa, and many people will be able to recognize the Dajjal, but very few will be able to follow Nabi Isa and resist the Dajjal. Very, very, very few. It's like a drug, because they've been so addicted to the Dajjal, they cannot break away from the Dajjal. And Dajjal will convince them that his ways is good, his way is righteous, his way is okay to stay on. And that's basically what's going on right now. When you say to people, you gotta break away from your movies, you gotta break away from your series, you gotta break away from your drama, all this, not that bad, right? You'll see that, you'll see these kind of things. It's not that bad. It's not as how you put it out to be. It's okay, why? Right? You watch some Bollywood, watch some, Korean drama, watch some, it's okay, why? It's okay, why? All this anime, it's okay, why? Disney, Hollywood, it's okay, why? It's not that bad. That's exactly the words of the Dajjal. Exactly. He will say to people that when he comes, it's not that bad. I mean, coming his way, that bad. Right? So if you can't recognize it right now, people can recognize, and it doesn't take much to recognize that Hollywood is all sinful. Right? Disney is all, is so gross, right? In how cute it is. Even non-Muslims are seeing it. Right? Anime is pornographic. Like it's obvious. But how many people resist? قليل جد قليل. Right? So few people resist the media. So few combat the rest of the world. So few people resist musicians, they resist celebrities, they resist the music industry. So few. So what makes you think that when Nabi Isa is, manifests himself, and Dajjal will have manifested himself, that you'll be able to resist Dajjal? We have not been able to resist the food that he's been feeding the world. Get me? Right? So the exact same thing that happened in the time of Rasulullah, the same thing will repeat itself. The Jews were getting prepared. They had studied their books. They knew that the sign of the last prophet. Right? And in fact, there was no imposter. It was one prophet. It was Rasulullah. There was no one trying to, to pretend to be Rasulullah, to be an imposter to Rasulullah. There was no there was no opposer, right? Whereby trying to pull the crowd to him. Like towards the end of time, Nabi Isa will have someone who will be an imposter to him. And that's Dajjal. So he's called Al-Masih Dajjal. He is the imposter. The word Dajjal means imposter. He's going to pretend to be the Messiah. And that's why in the Christian tradition, they call him the false Messiah. He is the Antichrist. He is the false Messiah. He will pretend to be Nabi Isa, alayhi salam. He'll pretend to be the Messiah. So anyway, just to address that, because someone mentioned, then I was like, if you study the science properly, if you study the science, in its sequence, right, really and properly as a science itself, right, you'll be able to recognize, where we're in right now. And so right now we're in marhala al-Quthaiya. We're marhala al basically we're in a state the Muslims have come to a very pathetic state, like of our worship, of our strength, of our strength of iman, of our connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why have Muslims come down to this pathetic state? Because and Rasul himself, he troubleshoot for us, what is the problem with Muslims in this era, whereby they are plentiful of Muslims, but what has happened to them? Al-wahn, Al-wahan has struck them. And he said, Ya, ma huwa al-wahan ya Rasulullah? Like, what is wahan ya Rasulullah? And he said, love of dunya and hatred of death. Right? Love of dunya and hatred for death. Hatred for death meaning they're not ready to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They've not been preparing their good deeds. They've not been preparing their ibadah. So they hate death because they're not ready. Right? So that is what has happened to the ummah. Right? The entire world of luxury, like dunya. Right? And subhanAllah, you see the world is so hypocritical. You see what's going on in Palestine, right? Going on in Palestine. You see statistics, all these, Muslim countries around Palestine, and they have all these demonstrations and whatsoever, and even the government might be going out there and condemning Israel and whatsoever, and then you see the numbers, how many imports, right? In the millions, billions of dollars of imports into Israel, Muslim countries, right? It's all staged. It's all staged. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. Their tongues are lying. The numbers are not lying. Like how many countries from Jordan? Like Saudi don't say that. Saudi is like a slave of Israel. Morocco, from Turkey. These are the biggest imports into Israel. In the millions. They can say all they want about them being against what Israel is doing. The money says otherwise. Right? Subhanallah. Right? So, I mean, this is what has happened to the Muslims. Al-wahan, Rasulullah has said that they care about money, they care about their pockets. And that is why the only country amongst the Arab countries that has stood up against, Israel is the poorest country because they have no money. They will ask you right here in Yemen, they have no money. So they have no money to lose, because they don't have any money. They're the poorest country, right? And they said that they're the only ones who are strong enough because no money is shackling them, right? No economy is shackling them. Right? And the rest of these Muslim countries, economy is shackling them and being slaves to Israel. And they can't break away because it's their pockets that's at stake. Right? Yemen, they're dancing around. And mashallah, they hit where it hurts. They hit right at the cargo ships. Right where it hurts. The money is what talks. Right? Money talks. So, and this is why you find the UK and America freaking out that Yemen's hitting them where it hurts, right? Their pockets, that's where it hurts. Right? You speak about lives, they don't care about lives. And they don't even care about lives of their civilians. They couldn't care less. Right? Even their own civilians, they couldn't care less. Even Israel, they don't care about the lives of innocents. All they care is about their dollars in their pockets. So anyway, where do we go into that? Yeah, so anyway, this is yes, the hypocrisy of it all, and Rasulullah is pointing to exactly what it is. So that's why we can exactly identify which phase we're in right now, marhala. And it's a very important study in fiqh, like which phase you're in right now, because you don't speak about a phase that you're not there yet. Okay, yes, you do. Okay, let me rephrase myself. You prioritize speaking about a phase that you're in right now. Yes, we do speak about phases that are to come, and we will speak about these phases, but that is for us to deliver the information to those who come after us. Okay, high chances we're not going to see the face of Dajjal, right? The face of the phase of Dajjal, right? PHASE, right? Right, but there are of our descendants who will see. Right, so basically, on every gene, on every generation, to study our phase right now, our marhala, and you study our phase right now, so we know exactly how to respond. That's the point, right? Here, what the Prophet ﷺ has said. What is the wiqaya? What is the protection of this phase that we're in right now? And then, yes, we do learn the phases that are yet to come that we probably will not see. And that is for us to learn and deliver to our young, to tell them about this, right? So that when they do see it and they live to that phase, they know exactly what to do. And get me? And even then, and this is what happened with the Yahud in the time of Rasulullah, the Jews in the time of Rasulullah, they passed down this information. They passed down, right, from Nabi Musa's time. They passed down the Torah. It was in their Torah, it was in the Injil. From Nabi Isa's time, thousands of years, they passed down the information of the last prophet, the final prophet, right, until the Zaman of Rasulullah, and it was thousands of years from Nabi Musa and Nabi Isa. Nabi Muhammad 500 years, and from Nabi Musa to Nabi Muhammad a few thousand years. right? But the knowledge was preserved and passed down through the Jews. And it reached the time of Rasulullah all preserved. And they knew exactly the Prophet. As Allah says in the Quran. And these people, they know the Prophet more, they know their own sons. Right? They know him, they know him. And they were there in Medina and they saw with their own eyes without any doubt that he is the Prophet. In fact, 100% of them knew it. Not, I won't even say 90%. 100% of the Jews of Medina, they knew he was the Prophet. They knew without a doubt that he was the Prophet. He was the awaited Prophet. So he was without a doubt. 100% of them knew it. 100%. How many became Muslim? Handful. Literally handful. Everybody else doing what? Plotting against him to kill him. That was what they were doing. What, and you're like, what was going on? They had been preparing for this. Yeah. But there was a disease in their heart. Right? There was a disease in their heart. And what was that disease? They wanted the honor to go to their race. The honor of the last prophet has to go to their race and not the Arabs whom they looked down upon. Right? So that was a huge blow on them. That Allah made an Arab the last prophet. Allah never promised it was going to be a Jew, going to be a Bani Israel. Right? So it was a huge blow on them. And so Muslims, you don't know the twist in the story. And how will the twist be? Huh? When Dajjal appears, it's gonna be a test. And in fact, Rasulullah said it's gonna be the biggest test to afflict humanity. If there's the words of the Prophet, the biggest test to afflict humanity is the test or the tribulation, the fitna of Dajjal. The fitna of Dajjal is the biggest test to hit humanity. I don't think it's gonna be easy to resist Dajjal. Like his attraction is going to be worldwide, and the majority of the world will be enslaved to him, in love with him. In love with him, Dajjal. So brace yourself, brace yourself. Just why it is urgent that right now we cleanse our households. We need to cleanse our children, cleanse our household, cleanse ourselves, like from feeding and from the hands of Dajjal, especially through the media. The media is the number one, means by which he is injecting his poison into humanity. And when his poisons are all injected, when he arrives, he manifests eventually, humanity cannot resist because they are addicted to Dajjal. They're addicted to Dajjal. You get me? Right? So Muslims, pay attention, wake up. Right, wake up. Right? If you're not going to stop it right now, don't think you can stop it or your descendants can stop it when Dajjal manifests. Okay? Be it, if you want. Now, right, so anyway, let's go back to the story. Right, so anyway, so I will say to the person that, it can't be, first and foremost, that Nabi Isa has descended, right, first and foremost, because we're not there yet in the era, right, in the marhala, right, in the phases, of history, secondly, Imam Mahdi, Nabi Isa, they are separate people, they're not the same person, right. Thirdly, Dajjal has not appeared. Not even the Dajjal, the Sufyani, they have not appeared yet. Right, so we're not there yet. We're not there yet, okay? So that's why you're studying this. You need to know where we're at. And we are right now at Nawaqid wa Naqa'id, and that has been spreading around for the past, 100 years, 200 years, especially from the industrialization era. What's it called? It's called the industrialization era. Okay, I think that's what it's called. Right, so especially from, what's it called? Industrialization, it's called era. I don't really think history then. Yeah, there's a term that they use in history. Is it called, yeah, the era of industrialization? Basically, with that era, right, that appeared, the revolution. I know, I was in the wrong word. Industrial revolution. That was the trigger, right, to the world changing. The world changing really very, very quickly, very fast. And from the industrial revolution, which happened in the history, which happened in the 1920s, right? That was what led up to the wars. Correct. If I remember my history well, right, it was the Industrial Revolution that led up to the wars, the World War I, World War II thereafter. correct? Before that, it was just small businesses, home-based businesses. Then there was a boom, with regards to the motor being invented, right? With regards to electricity being invented, right? And then machinery, factories, and you have the boom of the Industrial Revolution, right? And that led to whatever it led to, which brought us up to till today. So there was an acceleration, of development of human beings till today. You get me, right? So now, is it 18th century? Late 18th century, yeah. Is it? Yeah, no. Okay, yeah. I think so. Okay, so we are now, so we have gone through the different, the mudillat to the fitan. I think I went through all of it, right? Yeah, I think I went through all of it. Now, with regards to culture, the media, now we're going to education, tarbiyah, right? So from all of these angles, the nawaqid and naqa'id will come in, right? So you have the abolishes, and you have what will, what will erode away, what we have been taught by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So today we're going to go into asbab al-wiqaya min al-fitan mudillatiha. Right. So وأما أسباب الوقاية من الفتن. We're there, right? نعم. وأما أسباب الوقاية من الفتن ومضلتها فتكون بتحقيق فصول هذا العلم وأقسامه الإيجابية لاستفادة منها والعمل عليها والسلبية لتجنبها وعدم المشاركة فيها واستعاذة بالله من فتنتها. فالمسلمون اليوم يعيشون الفتن المضلة ويتقحمون في شرورها المتنوعة سياسة واقتصادا وتربية وتعليما وثقافة وإعلاما، وهم لا يعلمون ذلك نتيجة جهلهم بدراسة الفقه الخاصة بعلامة الساعة وفتنتها المضلة. وقد عقدنا في آخر هذه النبذة فصولا خاصة لموقف المسلم من الفتن والأشراط والعلامات والفقه المبادرة ومنهج السلامة فلتراجع. تمام. So the last part of this section, he speaks about the protection. Right, so the means of wiqaya, so wiqaya meaning protection from this misguiding or misleading tribulations. So al-fitan al-mudillah, right? This misguiding or misleading tribulations. So he says here, right? So the means of protection from tribulations in general, right, and misleading ones in particular is by realizing and understanding. I mean, so the word realizing here will be yuhaqqiq, right? بالتحقيق, meaning by actualizing. So the word tahqiq, right? The word realize is a weak word to use the word tahqiq. Right? Tahqiq meaning to actually when I translate, I'll use the word actualize, which is also not a very good word also. Like tahqiq, it means to take this knowledge and to have it real. So they use the word realize, right? But not in the way of the meaning of realize, in the way we use it in English, right? But it is to make it real in your life. You get what I mean? Right? So meaning that it's manifest. Right? This knowledge is being realized in your lives, meaning it is manifesting in your choices, in your lifestyle, in the way your family, conducts itself, in the tarbiyah of your children, is being realized, meaning it's being made real, right? It is being made real. And so the word actualize will be a good word, right? To actualize it, right? To make it real, right, in your lives, right? So tahqiq hadha al-ilm, right? So by realizing or making it real, and understanding the knowledge embedded in this science and sub-sciences, in order to benefit from the positive methods through their application, and also through becoming aware of the negative incidents, right, so as to avoid them and seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, let me comment on this first. Right, so the first thing here is that, right, the study of this knowledge, right? Because with the study of this knowledge, and what we just did in the past few weeks, that when we speak about, the nawaqid and the naqa'id, right? We speak about, the abolishes, right? What has abolished, righteousness in our religion, what has abolished righteousness in society, what has destroyed, parts of our religion. and you were going through that. And I'm very sure for me personally, when I was studying this, a lot of matters come to light, right? A lot of matters are being highlighted and being pointed to, and we've been in these matters, we're realizing that we have been, that we are engaging in corruption. And we don't even realize it. You get me? Like from something, like mentality, just from our mentality, do we realize how much of our mentality is very heavily influenced by what's going on around us in the media, and also in education? And you will see this, right, in ourselves and also in those around us. And it's very hard to fight it because it's everywhere. It's a global mentality, right? That is what? That is madiyah, right? Which is, it is something that is, you will say physical, material, right? The world depends on what is material. The world believes in the material. And Muslims have fallen into that, whereby they place the material above what is spiritual. So from every aspect of our lives, right, that what has happened to us is that, Muslims nowadays, if you were to say, I'm doing, Yasin, doing Fatiha, for my problem, praying tahajjud, spiritual methods, right? And they will say to you, but you must put in effort still, you must put in effort. As if all of the spiritual methods were not effort. No, you need to go and, go out and do this and do that and whatsoever. Because there is, and I'm just highlighting this, I'm not saying right or wrong, but I'm just highlighting the mentality, right? That there is a full trust and belief in what? Material means. Full trust and belief in our zaman, in the material means. And a very weak connection to spiritual means, in this life, or spiritual solutions. He has entered into every aspect of our lives in our community. So basically, you see, what Habib is saying. You learn this knowledge, right? Your mind gets carried, and you are pointed to where you have been brainwashed all this while. And sometimes, or most times, it's very hard to swallow, because we've been so long on that mentality, or you grew up on it, your parents are on it, your grandparents are on it. Subhanallah, for example, our mentality in this zaman, right? Oh, you must get a degree, right? You must have some education. You must, right? Otherwise, you have no future for yourself. It is a mentality. I'm just highlighting it. It's a mentality. And if anyone wants to say, no, I don't want to go that path, I want to take my own path, and that there will be this resistance against them. Right? Saying that you're not thinking, you don't know what you're doing, you are wasting your life away, you are this, you are that, right? It's a mentality. It's a mentality. Same thing. The moment you want to go against the grain, there's resistance. Why? Because there is a global mentality. You get me? And we are in it. A lot of us, we are in it. And we have it. We have it in ourselves. And we have this resistance. When someone says to us, take spiritual method, there is this, this heaviness, resistance, like a lack of trust in the matter. Right? When you speak about insurance, you speak about savings, you speak about, you speak about all these things, there's this heaviness in people. Right? Because of the zaman. This is and so that is why when you study this knowledge, you begin to think, what is going on? And what is the education system? What is it about? And what are we learning? What are we studying? What are we putting into our children? And what did we go through? As we grew up, what stuff that we studied? What did we go through? And you kind of stop for a while and you think, now, what did I watch when I was young? The entire time in front of Cartoon Network or Disney Channel or Nickelodeon or whatever. We all grew up on these things. And I'm so I see that the Yemenis here, they are protected. They have none of this. Like we all primary school, secondary school, you go into college, university, all of these parts of your lives. Like we have cable TV. Most of us in Singapore, we have cable TV. We're just watching all this stuff. And now it's even worse. Our kids have Netflix. Right? And alhamdulillah, here in Dari, they don't even have electricity. Alhamdulillah. They have no Netflix, so definitely not. Right? They have no electricity. So they're so protected, mashallah. We have a whole thing going on in our countries, right? So think about it. Like what would their upbringing be if they're just watching all this stuff, and it's on demand. I never allowed myself to have any experience with Netflix whatsoever. So I don't know how to work it. I don't know how to on it. I don't know what to do with it. Right. And I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn Netflix at all. At all. Already YouTube itself, I would say it's really, you're trying to get lectures at the same time, a lot of stuff pop up. So it's really like a struggle to try and force yourself to not look into other stuff that distracts you. Right. But I don't know how people have Netflix in their house. Like what are you doing in the sense that, like, subhanallah, Allahu Alam. I don't know. I have not entered the world of Netflix. And I'm not going to allow myself to enter the world of Netflix. I'm happy without knowing anything about Netflix. Alhamdulillah. Right. So this is what it is. So to understand this knowledge and to study it, because studying it brings realization. And when you realize, what we have been brainwashed about, you begin to resist. And you begin to make steps to resist. Because there is a game of Dajjal. And the game of Dajjal is to bring people into a heedlessness that they don't realize they are being played with. You get me? That is his game, right? So you just adopt all of whatever he says, Dajjal, right? Consume it whole, the swirl, the entire thing, and go with them. It's like go with the flow in a way. So this science, this science especially of al-nawaqid wal-naqaid wa mudillat al-fitan, this science is for us to focus, and reevaluate what's going on around us, and just stop for a while and look at what you're doing. Look at what you're watching. And next Disney movie comes out, do you get excited? Do you want to go and watch it? When you hear about Marvel, Marvel, right? Marvel comics and the superheroes and Spider-Man and Hollywood and whatsoever. When these things appear, right? Is there an attraction to want to watch it? Like subhanAllah. So it starts small, yes, I know. And I'm saying this to you all, it is going to be a struggle because it's a worldwide culture. It's a worldwide culture and strongest in developed countries, right? Strongest in developed countries like Singapore, strongest. So it's really in all of our families. It's everywhere around us. Illa ma rahima rabbi. Except for those whom Allah has mercy on. So for myself personally, mashallah, for myself, I am lucky. My mother from the beginning, she's been against the media. As we were growing up, she would not allow us to watch a lot of things. Right? My mother, so she, I was in secondary school when they began to broadcast Friends, the sitcom, on TV, and my friends in school were talking about it whatsoever. I think I was in secondary school when it was broadcasted. My mother would never give permission for us to watch it, ever. Let me Allah reward her and bless her. Right. So right now in my family, none of us, have TVs in our homes. We don't have TVs. I think my one on the brother has. Right. But basically, we're not TV watchers. We don't go for movies or TV. And because of my mom's upbringing, of my mom's tarbiyah of us. Right? And then I see my husband's family, same thing. Same thing. Right? They also have like an understanding. An understanding of this breaking away. So I know for myself, my family, and I happen to marry into a family as well that has the same, ideology, or the same, they're breaking away from all of these things. And that is basically, I would say, the barakah of following the awliya. Because my husband's family, they have a sheikh, and they follow the sheikh, they follow the awliya. Right? So my family, my mom, right, she does have a sheikh herself, and she does follow a sheikh. So there is, a tarbiyah from there. Right. So right now, me and my husband, we're in Tari, we are following Habib Omar as well. There is barakah in following the awliya. Right. And it keeps you strong, keeps you grounded. And one of my answers to the person was saying about this, the Mahdi has come up and he's Nabi Isa and the same person. And now I said to her, you know what? What did the Mashayikh say? What did the awliya say? Basically, look at the awliya of the Zaman. right? If someone is giving this claim that the Mahdi and Nabi Isa is one person, and this apparently this individual, whoever he is, Mahdi or Nabi Isa, right, has emerged, you know, the awliya would inform us, and the awliya would speak about it. It's not going to be, it's not going to be a secret. It's not. But that's the thing about it. It's not going to be a secret, but very few will be. Very few will be able to act on it. Very, very few. They will know the person they are following is Dajjal. They will know it and they will follow him. Like how Allah describes Yahud in the Quran. Like they know that these believers of Mecca are polytheists. They know these people, you know, are wrong. They're committing shirk. The Jews are monotheists. Yet they go to the polytheists of Mecca and they work together with them. And they tell the polytheists of Mecca that they are more correct than Nabi Muhammad wasallam. While the Jews are people who are descendants of prophets. And Allah exposes their matter in the Quran. Allah says, you know, you dare say to people who are polytheistic, you know, they are polytheists, you dare say to them that they are ahda, it means they are more guided than the Prophet Muhammad, whom you know is a monotheist. And you Jews are supposed to be monotheists. Oh, Allah scolds them, you know, outright, because the polytheists of Mecca, they asked the Jews of Medina, they asked them, who is correct? Ask for him. And the Jews said to the polytheists of Mecca, you guys. And you know, this is so, you know, it's so gross. You know, because you're the Jews, they are believers in one God. You're believers in one God. How in the world can you allow, could you say idol worshippers are more guided than someone else who's worshiping one God? And subhanallah. And that was also one of the reasons why, you know, the Muslims, there's a whole series, the whole, you know, the history behind why when the Romans were defeated by the Persians, like the Muslims actually felt sad about, because the Romans were Christians. So they were closer to the truth than the Persians, who were fire worshippers. You see that? So there is a sense of solidarity between monotheistic religions. That when you meet someone and they say, I believe in one God, I know there's one God, there is a sense of, there is a common ground, as compared to someone who says many gods, or someone who says no God. You get me? Right? So, but to go with someone who says, no, I believe in one God, there is one God. And so those who are monotheistic, they are united in that sense, right? Which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, he brings out the case of the Jews of Medina, like that they knew it, but they did the exact opposite. So we're taking all these examples because this will repeat. It will repeat. They will know it, but they will go to people and say, follow Dajjal, while they know he is Dajjal. Right? That it will happen. Right? And they will prevent people from following Nabi Isa while they know it's Nabi Isa. So it's not a secret. It's going to be a secret. It's going to be a trial, a major trial. Come on. Okay, so studying this knowledge is one of the biggest wiqaya, one of the biggest protections. Studying this knowledge, because it gives you basira, it gives you an inner sight. It stops you for a while. It makes you reevaluate the choices you are making for your families, for their education, for their medication, for their, just even the way you live your lives, your holiday choices, where you go, what are you feeding your children, dunya or akhirah, right? Are you placing them on the path of akhirah, or are you placing them on the path of dunya, right? Subhanallah. So this knowledge gives you that. Right. Let me just finish reading the entire chapter. So then now, and also being aware of negative incidents so as to avoid them and seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muslims today live within misleading tribulations and unknowingly, this is the biggest highlight, unknowingly engage in its various evils. We are consuming it and we don't even realize it. We're consuming it. Politically, economically, yes, I mentioned this last week, whereby we're so immersed in a riba system that we've gotten so comfortable with it that we take more and more loan unnecessarily. So while the fatwa might be in our countries that they allow for the first house or the first car, right? Because otherwise, where you're going to live, right? So you're in a situation where you can't even afford, you can't buy it cash. Very few young adults can buy their houses or their cars cash. Okay, that's a fatwa, right? That allows for, you know, the first one, right? Then what about, but people get so comfortable with it that they go into an extravagance and they buy condominiums and they buy landed property and they buy properties and more than one property, they buy more than one car, and all on what? Riba, all on interest, with no backing from the religion that allows for it. Nothing. The second car, third car, second house, third house, you know, all of it, where? You know, nothing from the religion. But we know of people who are very, you know, mashallah, if you're smart, you know, in your finances, and if you're smart, you know, in your if you're smart in your religion, like you would do whatever it takes to clear off your loan. Because if you knew how much riba you would pay if you stick to the monthly payment, if you stick to that, right? Or how much riba you pay at the end of the 30 years, you know, of loan that you take from the bank, it is way more, way more, way more. And you'll be shocked. So I know of people, they might not be so religious, but they are smart financially. Like they are smart. They pay lump sum. You know, they clear off every year, they clear off of their as much as they can. And because I know the banks also, they kind of stop you from doing more, right? Because they don't want to, they want to earn the riba, they want to earn the interest, they want it. So they stop you from paying more than an amount. I know they do that, right? So, but I know people that they do the most they can and they finish their loan in 5 years. Instead of taking 30 years, which the system brainwashes us to thinking we can take 30 years. No, they take 5 years. Because why? Save. They don't go for holidays. They don't buy things that are extravagant. They really stinge, right? They really minimize what they spend. Every single year, they pay off lump sum. In 5 years, in our age, around the age of 30, before 40, they are done paying their homes. They're done. Right? So, but it is the culture, you get me? It's a culture that you get so used to this, you know, economic structure of riba that people so easily, because you have a big salary, you buy another car or you buy another house. Right? When you just on a lot of riba. And where is the law that allows for it? There isn't. But people are so used to it, they're so comfortable in it that they do it. You know, subhanAllah. If I continue this, I won't stop talking about this part of economy. Educationally, we went through it, culturally, so all of it we went through. Right? All we went through, like, so all of these things like that have it mentioned, right? Also from the media, a lot of this, right, we are consuming of the evil of these things without realizing this is because they have not studied the science of the day of judgment and the missing tribulations preceding it. So because they've not learned this science, that's why they are so deep into it, right? And they don't realize that they are just lapping up, right, from the poisons of the Dajjal. So he says at the end of the book, actually, there is a chapter dedicated, right, to highlight what initiatives and stances the Muslims should adopt, right, in the face of all of these things, right, when they appear towards the end of time. Okay, now that's the end of the chapter. Right, let me just see a question here. I actually have a meeting at 10 o'clock, so I need to get off line. There's a long question here. 2 questions, 3 questions. Okay, it's difficult to talk things to your siblings, parents, watch all kinds of things, right? And they want to spend holidays doing all these things. So yeah, it's true. It's true. It is true. I'm not saying, you know, this is going to be an uphill task, because Dajjal has been brainwashing the world for more than 100 years. Okay, for more than 100 years. We just put the 18th century, right? The Industrial Revolution. It began there even before that. Right? So this mentality that we're in right now has been going on since our grandparents or great-grandparents' generation. It is a mentality, a brainwashing. So you want to fight it. So you've been hearing all this stuff and you're hearing it, right? You're hearing it. And even you yourself, you know that there's a change in you. That perhaps in the past you used to watch all this stuff. Then now you're hearing it, and so you become, you know, averse towards it. So, you know, try, Bismillah, right? Try, you know, ask Allah to inspire you how to speak to them, Those who are older than you, those are already adults, they're a bit harder to work on because the brainwashing is so deep, right? And so it's harder to convince them as well. And they'll keep saying that, oh, you're being paranoid, you're being, all this, controversy, or all this, what do you call this? They call it the, all this conspiracy theories, and so on and so forth. People will just they will throw a lot of excuses against you because you want to follow the nerves, and it's hard for them to break away because, as I mentioned, it is a brainwashing. It is a brainwashing, and you're trying to fight it. It is easier to work with our children. So it's easier to work with a blank slate that's pure and not poisoned, as opposed to trying to cleanse out someone who is addicted and poisoned. That is more difficult. It's an uphill task. You get me? Right. So I would say slowly, right? Really slowly, slowly. Be gentle about it. Don't go into argument. Right? The worst thing to do is to go into argument, to blame people, to run them down, to make them feel, like lesser, whatsoever. That's the worst thing. There's the worst way to try and bring across this message. Right? But gently, right? Gently. Which is why it is always, it is recommended, if you can, to have your own small family get together, halaqa. Like, I mean, I personally really strongly believe in this, that every family, or extended family, they should have like a once a week come together, read Yasin together, and learn something. Like read a book, Imam Al Haddad's book, every family or extended family, because I know all of you, you go to your parents' house once a week anyway, at least once a week, right? I mean, all of us, we do, those who are married. I mean, you go back to your parents' house at least once a week or twice a week, at least, or your in-laws' house. When you do that, what do? Hang around. Yeah, we do. We just hang around. That it'd be beneficial if you could just, initiate something. And for the sake of your family, initiate something, do something together. And that is when we can speak about things without people feeling attacked. Because it has to be done on a stage whereby we're sharing, we're not attacking. Okay, we're not trying to correct people directly in their faces. We're trying to work on a change in mentality. You get me? So something that is not direct, but to speak about it. Okay, so you try and wait, ask Allah to give you all, But I honestly feel that it is beneficial that every, family has a circle, once a week as a family. Talk about matters that matter, in your religion. Right? So um, so yeah, same thing. Right. So yeah, my YouTube page is open. It's open. And it's not hidden, it's open. Right. So you can just, if it benefits, you can let people listen to it. If it benefits. Right. But I would say, really open up the discussion, open it up. But and also understand it's an addiction, especially with the phone. Our zaman or our generation has come to a point whereby when we have free time, the first thing we do is flip out our phone. And when we go into our rest time, I want to rest before you sleep, you want to lie down, you want to, you have like a break time. First thing people do, flip out their phone. That's our culture right now. It's addictive. So it's an addiction. You need to stop doing that. Like take out your tasbih, take out your Quran. Like do something else, with your time, and don't flip up your phone. And the worst thing to do is to scroll your phone before you sleep. The worst thing, right? Maybe stop doing that. Like so slowly, slowly speak to them. You can have them hear this as well. From the beginning, okay? From the beginning. Don't pick up a lecture randomly and play that, right? But from the beginning, if you can, right? Because it is, as I mentioned, it is a change in mindset. It is an entire change in mindset. Okay. So inshallah, next week we will continue the next knowledge. No. Next week, Daura, I probably will put these classes on hold until after the Daura. Probably, I think almost all my classes will be on hold until after the Daura. I'll see how it goes, inshallah. But high chances it's going to be on hold, and we will resume second week of August, inshallah. بارك الله فيكم. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. أن الله رزقنا منافعا والعمل خالصا مخلصا من الهدى يسر به من الوسواس والرحمة من مشايخنا وذوي الحق علينا وإلى حوض النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. الفاتح.